For Coach Ben Schwartzwelder, the 1970s were turning out to be trouble. Nothing but trouble. Static in the headlines, and static on the sidelines. As the 1970 season opened, there were still 8 Syracuse football players boycotting the team. The men were advocating for the end of discrimination against African American football players in the program. The athletes never returned to the team, but maintained their scholarships, and ultimately won the long game. And if all this wasn't enough, old Archbold Stadium was beginning to show its age.
When I was going at Archbold, we'll say the last 10 years.
It was getting kind of rough.
It was starting to decay.
The team wasn't that great, and the stadium wasn't that great.
Very damp.
And it rained a lot.
It was just sad to look at what used to be.
Yet, some things remain the same. The early 70s featured another dynamic backfield of Marty Januszkiewicz and Roger Pretorius.
The good news, we were big and tough. The bad news, we were big and slow, I guess I would say. But anyway, the answer was it was called a power backfield, which, you know, I would argue in hindsight you lacked the breakaway speed, but it was Ben Schwartzwelder football and 3 yards in a cloud of dust, and, you know, we got it done.
And there were still big-time wins, like upsetting Penn State on the road.
We came in at halftime, and Ben says, well, here's what we got to talk about. And the guys just screamed and yelled, let's go out and kick their butt. And Ben just shrugged and said, let's go out and kick their butt.
However, this would be Schwartzwelder's last winning campaign. As the 70s moved on, there were more losses than wins. The fans grew restless.
Yeah, I remember them singing, "Goodbye, Benny, we hate to see you go." And to see people almost booing and cheering his demise.
An inglorious end to a glorious career.
They were reducing the capacity because it really wasn't safe, some of the seats. So reducing it down, I think Syracuse, if they wanted to remain a top football program, needed to build a new stadium.
It's a need that Ben's successor, Coach Frank Baloney, quickly embraced, spearheading the effort to upgrade Syracuse's antiquated athletic facilities. Over the next 3 years, people talked, money changed hands, a plan was made. Upon the Archbold footprint, a new dome stadium. But first, Archbold had to come down. So it came down to the last game in Archbold, Syracuse versus Navy, November 11th, 1978. A clutch field goal. A drop pass in the end zone. And just like that, Syracuse won. And so it was. After 71 years, Archbold's curtain came down. And moments later, everything else.
And once the game ended, everybody just mobbed the field and grabbed anything they could. One of the guys that was sitting 2 or 3 rows in front of me gets up and he takes out this saw. And he began sawing his seat. And somebody yelled to him, "Hey, you can't do that." He said, "I sure can. I've been coming here for 20 years or whatever, and I paid for this seat, and I'm taking it home with me." And he continued to saw.
Some people almost got hurt. The electric scoreboard, people started to tear down.
But people were picking up pieces of sod and taking it home. I didn't see anybody else with a saw, but this guy got his seat.
Amidst the rubble, memories.
When that happened, I naturally would think back about when I was a little boy, actually, with my mom and dad. All the games I saw up there, and then, you know, he had the opportunity to play up there. I think it was like losing an old friend.